Vikings won today, Hunter. Evan, what up? Blake, what up? All right, 28 minutes left on this live stream. We are on YouTube as well, same time. Okay. Any questions? We're doing Q&A, 28 minutes. We can talk about anything that you guys want answers to. If you want to just talk sports, it looks like you could do that as well. If you hop over to the YouTube, though, YouTube live stream, I have a whiteboard going. We are live on YouTube and Instagram right now. So live show, 27 minutes left on this baby. Any questions I see on the YouTube chat or Instagram chat? I'm going to do everything I can to answer every question. But why don't we start out with any questions I got coming into this? We got, let's see here. I got questions in the bank. All right, first question. Let's see. Coming in live from a text message from earlier. Chiefs winning tonight? I hope so. I don't want the Chiefs dynasty to end. So maybe that's a hot take. I'm not really sure. But let's see. Whiteboard, those of you watching on YouTube, you get the whiteboard action here. Instagram. Thank you guys for being here as well. All right, first question. Does it make, hey, Alex, would it be best to focus on my debt or saving money to put aside for Airbnb? Man, that is a great question. So I'm going to answer this with a visual. If you're on Instagram, can't see this. YouTube, looks like we got some viewers. That's what I'm talking about. So the question was, best to put money towards debt or to put it towards Airbnb? My answer to that, what's up, Darius, on the IG? Darius, the question was, is it best to put my money towards debts or put it towards first Airbnb? My answer to that is that I think you kind of have to look at it in terms of levels. So there's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong with money. I think that's why the book Psychology of Money goes so hard, because if there was right or wrongs, we would all be rich. But the reality is we're all just doing our best to try to figure it out. Spencer, welcome to the live stream. What's up, brother? So the way that I look at it, not saying this is right or wrong. Again, level 0 is make, spend, make, spend. That is you probably heard of this. That is the survival loop. So a lot of people, 99% of people, I would say, are stuck in the survival loop. Is that fair? If you're watching this, hopefully you've used some tips. And this is JJ9 McCarthy. This is even a throwback. Deserves to be worn today. But 99% of people, I think, are stuck on level 0. Level 0 is make, spend, make, spend, make, spend, doing their absolute best to just get by. And that's a bummer, but that's just where most people are at. So how do you get to level 1? Level 1 of the investing game, in my opinion, is when you finally break out of make, spend, make, spend. And I'll talk about Bitcoin right after this, actually, because I just today, actually, my weekly withdrawal just went to my Bitcoin and my Ethereum and my XRP. So I'll talk about crypto in a second. But level 0, make, spend, survival loop, 99% of people are there. Level 1 is what I call make, save, make, save. Okay, so now maybe you're not in a cash deficit at the end of every week, and now you actually are making more money than you're spending. That's level 1. If you want to get in, this question was about Airbnb or debt. I'm about to get to that answer, but level 0, make, spend, make, spend. Level 1, you're finally saving more money than you're spending at the end of every week. That's level 1. So if you're not doing that yet, you're never going to get ahead. But that's the first step, right? So make save. Now that extra money in level 1, you're just saving it. So you're just putting it away, maybe in like a savings account or something like that. Okay. If you want to go from level 1 to level 2, that would be make invest. Okay. Make invest, make invest, make invest. That's level 2. Now, this would be what I consider your traditional style investments. So this is like what your parents tell you to invest in, or what your financial advisor tells you to invest in, or what most books. Do I have? Oh no, I had a book of a simple path to wealth or something like that. They talk about, boring investments. Oh, what up? We got a couple more people on the YouTube stream. You guys, hey, if you're on the IG, if you go to my YouTube, you can see the visual. Just saying. Not that you should leave. Drop any more questions. About to get to the Bitcoin. Level 0, make spend. Level 1, you finally are in a cash surplus, saving money. That's great. Level 2, you're finally investing. So now you're not just saving money anymore. You're actually investing. This could be like Roth IRA. This could be into Robinhood stocks. This could be into traditional real estate, potentially. Maybe. Level 3, though. Okay, level 3 is what I consider the awakening. Level 3 is when you start investing into boring stuff, and all of a sudden you realize, like, wait a minute, what is this actually doing for me? It's doing nothing. It's basically doing nothing, because sure, and this is where it starts to get controversial. We already lost a viewer on the YouTube, but the real ones are going to hear this and start to maybe question a little bit. But level 2, when you're investing, putting away till you're 60, level 3, I call the awakening. That's when you realize that cash flow investing is superior. Okay. And if you don't understand this yet, look up Lifestyle Investor, Justin Donald, binge his podcast, read his book, read everything he's put out there. Lifestyle investing, cash flow investing is superior. Level 3 is when I think people realize that, but they get scared to jump. Okay. Level 4 is playing the cash flow game. Again, this is all my opinion. So maybe you invest differently than I invest. And that's why, again, I opened this with saying psychology of money. There's no right way to do it. So make spend, make save, make invest, learn about cash flow invest. Level 4, start to play the cash flow game. Now, what is the cash flow game? It's investing into things. What up, Andrew? What up, Day? It's investing into things that spit back money every week, every day, every month. Okay. You're getting dividends, you're getting passive income. Okay. You're making money on rent, those kind of things. So why do I invest in Airbnbs? And this is answering the Airbnb question, because it is one of the lowest barriers to entry. Yes, Andrew, this is a weekly live stream we're going to do now for 30 minutes. So this is my first live. What up? So this is what was I saying? I was saying something about somebody drop. Hey, if you're still here with me, let me know in the chat. Playing the cash flow game. So you finally jump. Okay. Why do I do Airbnb? Why do I think Airbnb is the best? It's just the easiest to get started. It's the lowest barrier to entry. These apartments that we're getting, it's going to cost $5,000 per unit. And I could show all the numbers on the screen share on the YouTube, but to save time, I'm not gonna, but I will, if you want me to, if we get demand. But they're going to cost $5,000 to set up. Each unit should cash flow between 800 on the low end. Oh, hold up, live stream. Okay, I still got you guys. So each unit will cash flow between $800 and $1,900 per month. Okay, on a $5,000 investment. Now, if you're like, that's crazy, why would they cash flow that much? The reason that they cash flow that much is because an Airbnb is not a traditional investment. Investing into an Airbnb is like buying a business. Okay. I wouldn't own the apartment building, but same thing. If I wanted to invest in a Jiffy Lube, you guys know what a Jiffy Lube is? Like an oil changing place. sometimes a Jiffy Lube store owner owns the building, sometimes they don't. So Airbnb, you have to think about it like it's a legit business, because it is. And $1,000 a month cash flow from a legit business is not even that much. Like that's $12,000 a year. If that was your only business, you'd be bankrupt. So sure, when you compare it to traditional investments, the cash flow might seem like a lot. When you compare it to a business, it's really not a lot. So it's all about the frame that you're looking at this with. And then the other thing is it can cash flow that because it's a business, which means it takes more work, but not if you have management. So that's where Dream Rentals comes in, and really makes it easy. So level 4, you finally get in the cash flow game after all these years of seeing my posts. You're playing the game. Level 5, portfolio building. That's when you start to build a portfolio. Level 6, you leverage the portfolio. Okay, maybe you consolidate it, get your first commercial real estate or boutique hotel or something like that. So anyway, that's the game. Now, how does debt fit into that? I kind of look at it like this. I think there's freedom investments, which is like, I think it's good to figure out your percentage mix. So again, I'm going to do this for those of you on the YouTube. But I think there's 3 buckets. You have your freedom investments. That's like your short-term plays. You have, and that's like the cash flow plays I was talking about. You have your protection investments. So that's what I consider your midterm plays. And then number 3, you have your long-term investments. Long-term, which I would consider like retirement, basically. So I would say when you're younger, I would recommend what I did is invest a higher percentage of dollars in the freedom buckets when I'm younger, because I have less obligation. When I'm 20, I feel I can take those swings, like buying a house hack or getting an Airbnb when I was 21. Like, I'm glad I did that because I had less to lose. If it failed, oh well, like it was the only money I had anyway. So the older I feel, I don't know. I don't have kids yet, but I can imagine it's harder to take swings like that when I'm older. So I would say, where does debt fall? I think debt's in that same bucket, and it probably makes sense to clear the debt before you get an Airbnb, because over leveraging it will kill you. Okay. But every situation is different. It really depends on the numbers. Depends on the numbers, depends what helps you sleep at night. So crypto, Bitcoin, to answer that question. Again, YouTube, you get to see right here, I got visual. But where do I put crypto? I put crypto in the long-term retirement bucket personally, because the way that I look at it is that top tier freedom investing, the cash flow investing, short term, is your cash flow play. So that's like Airbnb, borrowing money, getting involved in a partner deal of some kind. Then the second is protection, that midterm investing. That's what I consider investments that aren't liquid, but can be liquid within a day or two or a week. So, I mean, the furthest I'd put this is real estate. Like, I would still even though it would take, it might be liquid in a month, but it might take 6 months to sell. Like, I would consider that the furthest down the line. But investing in real estate to me isn't a long-term, isn't a retirement play, because at least to me, in the perfect situation, I'd be investing into that real estate in hopes to then consolidate and level up. I don't know anyone in my life that is financially free from single family residential real estate. I don't know a single person. I'm not saying I have like crazy network, but I know some wealthy people. I know financially free people. I don't know anybody that's made it to financial freedom from just collecting houses. Even think about the game Monopoly. You have to get the houses, then leverage them to get hotels. So that's the same way that I look at real estate in real life. So freedom bucket, short-term protection bucket, midterm, that'd be like cash value life insurance, investing into it, but it can be liquid. if you needed it, borrow from yourself. I would consider like a withholdings from your company in that bucket as well, because it's put away to be used for taxes or something, and you can pull it, but it's not sitting there. Like it's not a cash flow. Well, withholdings isn't spitting you dividends. It's actually the opposite. You get 0% interest. And I think there's power in understanding how to leverage that in your strategy. And then real estate, I would consider that as well. Now, and stocks, maybe if you're like trading often. The long-term bucket, the retirement bucket, is where I personally put the least amount of money right now. So for me, that bucket would be Roth IRA. That bucket would be 401k. It would be index funds. It would be for me, this is the crypto. So I believe in crypto. I think that it's going to be the currency of the future, but I don't invest that much time into learning about it. So when I learn about making money moves, what I'm more so reading about and learning about and spending my time doing is learning how to build businesses and learning about real estate and short-term rental stuff. So that is where I think about it. Think about it like this, Andrew. Great question. Is I think about it like this: what percentage of my time am I putting into learning about this stuff? That's the same percentage of my money that I invest into this stuff. So I don't know a ton about crypto, but I know enough that I do believe in it. And so every week I have a weekly recurring that goes to, and it's the same amount every week, all year. I've been doing this for a while, to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. And it's just because I believe that it's going to be that's like a part of my retirement bucket. That's actually the biggest part of my retirement bucket. And my whole thing is like, hey, if I'm wrong, if you watch this, you think I'm crazy. If you're like, why don't you invest in the stock market? It's because I just believe in myself. Like I said, I spend most of my time learning about running businesses and learning about building them and learning AI and learning skills. And like I like to bet on myself. So hey, if crypto flops and you guys end up with these $1 million retirement accounts when you're 60, that's awesome. I believe that I can make $1 million when I'm 60, because by then I'll have the skills I have now times 3 or whatever. That's my mentality. But yeah, Andrew, to answer that question, is I am fully focused on cash flow because I'm young. That's my mentality. And I think young is anyone who's under 30, anyone without kids. Okay, question coming in here about average great growth per year on Roth IRA. How do you decide whether to max that out or take the risk with crypto? Great question. That exactly goes back to my whole percentage in buckets philosophy. So on Instagram, can't see what I have on the screen on YouTube, but the 3 types of investments that I think that there are. I think there's the freedom investments, which is short-term, protected investments, which is mid-term, and then retirement investments, which is long-term. Roth IRA and crypto, to me, both would be long-term. So if it was me, I would probably put the same amount of money into crypto as I put into Roth IRA. That would be Hayden. What up? Let's go. And Jorge, what's up? But I'd probably put the same amount in crypto that I put in Roth IRA. But I got to be honest, Blake, I don't put any money into a Roth IRA. It's kind of a hot take. I just don't believe in it. I mean, I understand the concept of it, but there's something called the cash value whole life insurance policy that I believe in a little bit more. Now, Blake, I don't know how old you are, but Roth IRA probably is a good move. Like Roth IRA is a good move because it's just a great way to invest money, because you're putting money away. That's what I talked about at the very beginning, which depending if you guys were on the YouTube or on the Instagram, you might have heard my philosophy on that. But if you're investing at all, that means you're level 2. That means you're playing. That's amazing. I don't think of crypto as a short-term investment or even a mid-term investment. to me, that is a long-term retirement play. So, Jorge, to your question, I just dollar cost average, same amount every week, just pulls from my account on Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. I don't know a ton about them. Like I said, I don't take the time to learn really about them. I just know those are kind of like the big three that I've been sold on. Hayden, you know Juju, big XRP guy. But yeah, life insurance, you guys, is a great, great, great tool as long as you have a good policy. So I want to warn you guys, anybody watching, if your friend is selling life insurance, they might write a good policy, they might not. So I know we have a few more viewers on the YouTube now as well, which is great. What up? I just can't see who's on the YouTube, but careful with life insurance because term is fine. I mean, life insurance in general, it's a good thing to have. But if you want to use it as a wealth tool, a very specifically written cash value whole life insurance policy. It has to be written a specific way though. So there are some bad, just like anything. I mean, you could get into a bad policy just like you could get into a bad house. And they all, it's like saying I bought a house. Well, you kind of have to show me the terms essentially. Life insurance. We're down to the last 5 minutes, by the way. If anyone else has any questions, drop them in. Otherwise, I'm going to go off the other last question I had texted to me yesterday right here. The question here actually goes off to life insurance. It says, would you say it's better to get the whole life insurance system in place before investing into an asset or a mastermind? Or what would your priority steps be? My response to this person was, and I want you guys to hear my answer to this. My answer to this, because we have a mastermind, right? So my answer to them was, I believe the first investment should be a mastermind, which is not because I have one that we run now. That's my answer. We started the mastermind because that's my answer. And I've invested in masterminds in different groups for 5 years. I wouldn't know anything about Airbnb. I wouldn't know anything about real estate. I would have never got to 8 doors. I would have never, but I did because I was around really good people who were making the moves that I only wished I didn't even know how to do any of that stuff. So that's why that's why I wanted to start one so bad, is because the group I was in, there was like 25 people, but only like 4 of them were making money moves. And so the one group I would like to join is Lifestyle Investor. That's what everything I do is based off Lifestyle Investor. That mastermind is $55,000 a year. And I don't have it like that. Okay. Someday. But in my mind, I was like, what's the junior version of this? And so that's why we started ours. But I think that it's just a misstep by people to have 50K, 100K in the market, or even be buying real estate before being surrounded by really, really, really amazing people that will just put more opportunity in your lap. Because I just made a reel about this, but I said something in it like, it's not what you know or who you know, it's who knows you, and it's what they know about you. So if that's what I would say is kind of check yourself a little bit, is like, hey, who knows you and what do they know about you? Because I see so much stuff about job market's horrible and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And like, hey, job market probably is horrible, but really great people with really great connections will never have to worry about not working. That's just the reality. So how do you become a really great person? What does that mean? And how do you be in a network of really great people who are looking to bring someone on and pay them for their services? So this leads to one of the last things I was going to talk about anyway, which was using AI. Right now, there's golden opportunity. If you know how to use AI, if you know how to, like, I just think about my dad's company, right? My dad's an electrician. He has an electrical company, and he always has business. So my dad is, small town of 1,000 people, and always has business. Well, if one of you learn the skill of Google web ad SEO, electrician, this, and could find a way to make my dad more money with him working less, because I'm sure there's a way to do it. What's up, Elijah? Dude. Um, Elijah, every time I see Saturday Night Live clips, I always think, But anyway, you guys want to make more money, you want to never have to worry about a job, learn skills that are crazy valuable to people with money. So, like Elijah as an actor, it's almost the opposite, which is no dig on you, Elijah. Like, I think what you're doing is amazing. I respect so much. Like, this guy's going to be famous. You guys could go follow him. But Elijah, I would say, like, if you guys think about it like this, there's so many people that want to be an actor. And so studios kind of have their pick, right? Like, you have to be so good and you have to know the right people and you have to get in the right situations. And studios can pay a little bit of money because there's so many options. Think about your skill set in entrepreneurship and just life as like, try to be the opposite of that. What's something that every company would pay for? What's a skill that is super rare? And how could you learn those skills and leverage them to make more money? That's the bit. And AI, I think, is a big part of that. Brock, in the last minute, dude, love seeing that name pop up. School. Brock, I also messaged you about the truck thing. But hey, Dreams to Reality live show. Thanks for hopping on. Anybody on the YouTube? I know I'm screen sharing a couple things here. Just stop that screen share. IG, thanks for the questions as we were rolling. We'll be back every week, 7:30 p.m. CST. That was fun. Tell your friends. Don't miss out next time. And how do I end this thing? See you guys next week.